Adebanjo was a foremost nationalist, distinguished lawyer, distinct politician, and proponent of true federalism. The former organizing secretary of the Action Group and national leader of Afenifere is survived by his 94-year-old wife, Christy Adebanjo, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. A condolence register has been opened at his residence in Lagos and his country home in Isonyaubo near Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State. The family is also consulting with his friends, associates, and numerous interest groups across the country to fine-tune plans for a befitting funeral, details which they say will be communicated in due course. We'll look at the life and times of one of the Afenifere leaders.
Ayodele Adebanjo started politics in 1943 at an early age as a follower of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. In 1951, he became a member of the youth wing of the Action Group and a mentee of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. He joined the Action Group in 1950-1951 and was appointed the organizing secretary. He was charged with treason and fled to Ghana, while his father was arrested in his place. As a founding member of the National Democratic Coalition, he stood against military rule and advocated for democracy and was a consistent voice for restructuring Nigeria, and he was a strong opposition figure until his death. His family says details of the funeral arrangement will be announced in due course, adding that a condolence register has been opened at his residence in Lagos State and his country home in Isonyaubo near Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State.
Now, condolences are pouring in following the passing of Pa Adebanjo. President Bola Tinubu has described the passing of one of the Afenifere leaders, Adebanjo, as the loss of a political leader. He praised the former chieftain as a man whose struggle for justice, democracy, and national unity has left an indelible mark on Nigeria's history. The president added that Adebanjo's principled voice, which resonated through decades of political activism, will be deeply missed. He said Adebanjo, as a lawyer, statesman, and politician, stood among the last of a generation of nationalists and independent heroes who shaped the foundation of this country. The president said, quote, "As a nation, we will miss his regular interventions in national affairs, which enriched our political discourse," end quote. And former President Olusegun Obasanjo has also paid a tribute to a leader of the Afenifere, Adebanjo, who died earlier today. He described him as a great man, a committed nationalist, an effective representative of his people, and an unpretentious personality. The former president says that death was no doubt a huge loss, not only to him and to Ogun State, but also to the nation as a whole. In like manner, presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has reacted to the death of the elder statesman, describing the news as shocking. The former Anambra State governor, on his X handle, said Pa Adebanjo was a great pillar in the struggle for a new Nigeria. According to him, Adebanjo's death is a profound loss to Nigeria and to all who cherish justice, equity, and truth. Also, former governor of Abia State, Senator Ojo Kalu, has expressed deep sorrow over the passing of elder statesman and Afenifere leader Pa Adebanjo. In a heartfelt condolence message on Friday, Senator Kalu described Pa Adebanjo as a patriotic leader, a strong advocate for democracy, and a symbol of national unity. Ojo Kalu, who is a lawmaker representing Abia North Senatorial District and also the Senate Committee Chairman on Privatization and Southeast Development Commission, acknowledged the late statesman's lifelong dedication to justice, equity, and good governance, stating that his contributions to Nigeria's socio-political development would remain indelible. Senator Kalu said, quote, "The passing of elder statesman Pa Adebanjo is a great loss to Nigeria. He was a fearless leader who stood for truth and fairness at all times. His wisdom, courage, and commitment to national unity will be greatly missed," end quote. And the governor of Ogun State, Dr. Adebanjo, has described the death of a leader of the pan-Yoruba socio-political group Afenifere, Adebanjo, as the end of a glorious era. The governor also described him as a man of principle and one of the most prominent and unwavering disciples of Obafemi Awolowo. According to Governor Adebanjo stood head and shoulders above many of his contemporaries and set the pace in the critical appraisal of government and governance as vehicles of social engineering. Now, prominent Nigerians have described Adebanjo as a detribalized Nigerian who sees everyone as equal. They made this assertion during a condolence visit to the family on the occasion of his death. TVC News senior reporter Theophilus Ilama has the details.
Political leaders such as Bode George as well as Emeka Anyoko, other friends and associates were at the Lagos home of Adebanjo to pay condolences to the family. His death is described as a loss to the nation, but at 96, many agree that he lived a fulfilled life in service of Nigeria.
He has run his race and he has finished well. Papa got so engrossed in the state of our nation. We were also members of the Constitutional Confab of 2014. And all those decisions that were taken there until he passed on kept saying, go and bring out that report. Let's Nigerians discuss them. Let's look at them.
I've had very close association with him in the selection committee of Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Award, of which I'm the chairman. And he never missed any meeting that we had in Ikenne, in Awolowo's home in Ikenne. He was always there. And I also had an association with him in the group called the Patriots.
He is also described as a forthright leader who has always had the interest of the people at heart. Many see him as a giant of Nigeria's movement to democracy and one who always wanted the best for the nation.
At 96, just 4 years to hit a century, I think we must give thanks to God Almighty. He lived a good life. He remained principled from the beginning to the end. He stood for the truth, and he stood for what he believed in. My prayer is that God will give us men like Chief Adebanjo in our country.
A devoted Awoist, Adebanjo was known for his central stage advocacy of restructuring through federalism and a Nigeria of equity, fairness, and a true sense of belonging for his constituents' ethnic nationalities. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
A former Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Senator Gbenga Kaka, joins me on the news at 10 for more on the life and times of Chief Adebanjo. Good to have you join us at this time. As an indigene of Ogun State yourself, tell us about the man, Adebanjo, and his legacy in the Gateway State.
Adebanjo is something that is highly predictable. You know where he stands on any issue. For certain, Papa has strong opinion on virtually every issue, and he will normally hold tight to that opinion once he is convinced. And that is why some people adjudge him to be very rigid on principle. And there's nothing bad in someone being rigid on principle. Adebanjo lived a life that is immutable. And there's nothing bad very courageous, loving, and he would tell any story as it is without mincing words. And that's just the main reason why some of us remain with him till the very end.
All right, talking about
as remarked by some people, is one of the last of the foundation independent leaders. We are going to miss him.
Indeed. And what attributes do you think?
Yep.
I hear you, Senator Kaka. Yes, please. So I was asking about the attributes that you think leaders can actually learn from his life, because you've mentioned that he lived an imitable life. So what attributes really can people pick from the man, Ayo Adebanjo?
He was very honest.